this rainy day. I haven't been outside, so I don't know what the temperature is, but I think we're getting some of the rain from Hurricane Imelda, I think might be her name. So, but thankful to be here this day. Thankful to have a wonderful guest with me. I think my post said we're changing gears today, pun intended. And I'm excited to welcome Desiree White, also known as She Mechanic, joining us live all the way from Conyers, Georgia. And we're going to talk a little bit today about TikTok, her experience being a mechanic, a female mechanic in the industry and things like that. And I'm mentioning briefly before we joined that this comes as a perfect time because the Triangle Wealthy Group is actually wrapping up our 30-day social media challenge. And we have had different tasks on every day all throughout September. And we're going to be finishing up today, and tomorrow's our last day. So, looking forward to hearing from the She Mechanic herself, the TikTok sensation herself, so she can tell us, give us some pointers and maybe share some things that we didn't get in our challenge. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Trying not to get dirty today. Trying.
Yeah, well, we won't keep you that long and then you can get back to business. So I really, really appreciate you joining me today and just sharing a little bit about your story. I got a text message back in February that said, "Hey, check out my wife. She's going to be on Good Morning America." I had no idea what I was looking for. And lo and behold, I was like, "Oh, I know her. I know her." So that's always exciting. So can you just introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about your background, and then we'll get into how you get started.
Yeah. So again, my name's Desiree. I actually was in the medical field for a pretty long time, about 12, 13 years. I was working in oncology. And at that time, I was a single mom with two kids, and I just wasn't happy in that career. So I wanted to find a way to make extra money on the side, and maybe explore entrepreneurship. I really wanted to have my own business, but wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Um, and I always loved cars. I didn't know much about cars at that time. I just knew I liked them. So I started buying them off of Facebook Marketplace and selling them. I'd find them at a reasonable price and,
Hmm.
in pretty decent shape, just so I can make just a little bit of money on top of it, and see how it went. And I did that for a couple of months and actually ended up making quite a bit of money just off of a few cars. Um, were really smooth. I didn't have any issues, mechanic wise or whatnot. And then I got a vehicle that needed some work. The engine light came on. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't sell this vehicle like this. So I
Hmm.
had to figure out what was wrong with it. Um,
Hmm.
so I started researching. I started YouTubing. I started
Hmm.
Googling the year, make, and model and what the symptoms were, just kind of like we did in nursing. We did this. I mean,
Hmm.
that's what we do. We do research. When you come into a
Hmm.
doctor's office with something wrong, we're going to look up all your symptoms and map out a plan and see what's wrong with it. So I just took that same, kind of outline and put it in for a vehicle because that was my patient at the time. And I
Wow.
found, yeah, and I found out, I was like, oh, it just needs a throttle body. Well, I can just get that at the auto parts store. And it looks like it's 4 bolts. Okay, I'll just take that off and put that one on. And I did that and it fixed it. Well, I just was able to increase the price of that vehicle much more now because it's working with no engine lights. So I was like, oh, well, this is nifty. Let me see if I can do it again. And
Right.
I think my son at the time, he was in high school. He was kind of young then, and my daughter she was really, really young. And
Hmm.
we were we bought a couple more, and
Hmm.
kept having big. I bought them with the intention of them having bigger problems to see if I could fix it because I knew
Hmm.
I would buy the vehicle at a pretty low rate, and then I could sell it for much more. My profit margin would be just outstanding. And we kept doing that, and my son would be out there with me helping. And the next thing I knew, months went by, and I had already sold probably 12, 13, 14 cars. I had fixed half
Hmm.
of them by researching and ordering parts. And at
Hmm.
this point, I'm like, I'm making more money than I was in Atlanta, which was sad because I was commuting 3 hours a day. So I was working during the daytime. I was coming home and working on the cars and selling the cars and working on the weekends. I was like, man, I'm done. It's time to start my own business. I can do this. We can keep on going. And I just kept learning with every vehicle. I was learning more information, and I was able to
Hmm.
navigate so easily around them. Um, And within a year, I had sold 36 cars. Well, that's a lot of cars I also was fixing and learning about. So,
Mhm.
and it just kept growing. And then, and I had met my current husband, and he had a lot of vintage cars, and he was like, I need you to work on my cars. I was like, no, I don't work on anybody else's cars. I'm still just figuring this out. He's like, no, you can do this. You're really good at this. And
Mhm.
he just dropped off his vintage cars in my yard, basically forcing me to work on it because I think he was trying to prove to me that, or let me prove to myself that I was really good at what I was doing. Um,
Mhm.
and I fixed them, and now I'm like, well, wait, I could actually make another, business out of this besides flipping cars. Let's make a real business. And I
Mhm.
ended up starting a mobile mechanic business with just
Mhm.
myself and my son helping and all my tools in the trunk. And I started traveling around Atlanta, but was recording everything. That was the
Mhm.
maker. While we were in the
Mhm.
yard, I was recording. I was recording while I was in other people's yards. I was recording the adventure. I was recording the issues I was running into and how I figured out how to fix it. Um,
Mhm.
so then that kind of just took off. I was on Facebook at the time. My son, he was like, you got to get on TikTok. Was like booming all of a sudden.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I made a profile on TikTok. I moved all my videos from Facebook I just like re uploaded them onto TikTok. And the
Mhm.
next thing I knew, I had like 20,000 followers. I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Then I started getting phone calls from people in the local area. I saw you on TikTok. I saw you. Can you come fix my car? Can you come to my house? So then it just kept going and going. And the more videos I made and the more cars I was fixing and the bigger it grew. And I kept posting. And
Mhm.
I was so persistent on the posting part that before I knew it, I had 60, 70,000 followers, and I'm driving around Atlanta and they're like, oh, I know who you are. Oh, you're the she mechanic. Cause that's when I started it. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to be the she mechanic.
Uh-huh. And I see you trademark that too,
Yeah,
right? Isn't it?
I ended up trademarking it because it's been about 4 or 5 years now. And
Mhm.
and within a year of my mobile mechanic business and posting everything, TikTok actually grew my business. Like I tripled in a year. So much so that I
Mhm.
was able to then take it to the next level and get a 9,000 square foot shop. I have five
Mhm.
employees. Um,
Mhm.
and the training, it's not like I just kept going on YouTube. I learned the curriculum behind what these kids are learning in tech schools. I learned what kind of softwares I had to use, what kind of diagnostic computers I needed, what kind of equipment. And now I'm building engines. That's what I do. I literally build engines, and I couldn't do an oil change 10 years ago. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy. I
Wow.
don't understand how I got here.
Wow. Wow. You gave us a whole lot. So
Yeah, I
much
know.
good.
It's like a whole thing. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So of course, me being in real estate, I'm always thinking about fixing and flipping homes, but you're doing the same thing for real estate. So, I mean, for cars. And I know people do it in a lot of different areas, but I just never thought about somebody, buying a car. Well, I do think about it because I think
Yeah.
about like when I had car issues, we had, my son's car got some wires got eaten by a animal or something, and they wanted to charge us like something ridiculous to fix it. I should have thought about calling you, but we ended up, doing the insurance, totaling it out and getting just a little bit of money for it or whatever. And I was like, yeah, somebody's going to take that car, fix it, and then resell it for whatever.
Oh yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, so yep, I get that. And then I also love that you shared that you took a chance. You weren't happy in a career because a lot of times we hear that people start careers and they feel stuck and that there's nothing else they can do. And you took a chance. You started something part-time and you built it up. You learned the trade, technically, officially, learned what you needed and built it up and was able to leave the oncology job, the 3-hour commute, because I know Georgia, Atlanta traffic. Whew, so I can't even imagine going
Well,
through
and
that
then
and
COVID
children.
hit. COVID hit at that time. Like it was
Um,
right when I started all that. So
mhm,
it was like, let me just take this opportunity to get away from the
mhm,
medical field because that was such
mhm,
a hard time during COVID. So it was
mhm,
really a blessing. I was at home. I was with my kids. I hadn't
mhm,
spent that much time with my kids in I don't know how long. Even now, my daughter comes to the shop. She has learned how to build an engine. She's 11 years old. That child took
mhm,
apart an engine, put it back together, and it started right up. I mean, the things that I'm able to teach my children now. My son's in the military now. He's been there 3 years. He's a mechanic. Um, it just really changed our whole way of life, and I'm happy. I work a
Mhm.
heck of a lot more, but I'm happy.
That's what counts. Now, is anybody else in your family entrepreneurial, a mechanic, any parents, grandparents, or anything? Or are you the first one to venture
That
out?
I'm the first one. It's a kind of a shocker to everybody.
Wow. Okay. Well, I love it. I love it. And I really appreciate you sharing the story. So you talked a little bit about, okay, so now you went from you just doing it sort of on your side as a, side hustle. Then you got your mobile mechanic and now you have your own garage. And we
Mhm.
talked a little bit about that offline. You'll be officially yours eventually one day, and then you'll feel like it's
Yeah.
done. But so you have your own. You said you have 5 employees
Yes. Hmm.
and Tommy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The cat. Oh gosh, the cat. The cat is definitely an employee, and he has his own followers too. It's hilarious, and he's great for morale. The customers love him. The employees love him. It's so funny. You should Anybody should always get a shop cat if you have a shop.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Tommy is hilarious. He just spread out wherever is comfortable for him.
Yes.
So, so then you started your son. Was it hard for you to make that transition to social media, or was it pretty smooth? Because, like, I know for me, I was like, I don't want to be on social media. I don't know what the balance is. I don't want to be putting all of my business out there, whatever, whatever. How was that transition for you getting into social media and sharing and making videos?
It was at first because of what I was doing. It was a little strenuous. First of all, I'm a female in a blue collar, you know, position. Okay,
Mhm.
the industry is already cutthroat. It's very hard. Um, so I was worried about how a male dominated industry was going to view me number one. You know, was I going to get a
Mhm.
lot of backlash? How were other people going to view me, and was I going to even get support? And so that's what I was a little nervous about at first, putting all of that out there. But what was crazy is the more I was putting out there, the more support I was getting. Especially from men, I was actually kind of shocked. Even mechanics, I have met mechanics from all over the world that have watched me grow. I get it all the time. We watched your journey. We have watched you from the very beginning when you were doing this out of your carport. The support that has come along the way has been such a beautiful thing that I really try to advocate for that for anybody that's going on a journey, that it's okay to take a risk and be scared. Don't
Mhm.
worry about what anybody else is going to think about it. Just, be strong in your opinions and how you're doing something, and do it and share it, because there are going to be other people out there just like you that need to see that. And
Mhm.
that's I had to learn that pretty quickly. That was the only thing that was slowing me down on social media at first.
It's just getting over that fear and worrying about, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us go through that. And so I do want to come back to more of the TikTok and the videos, but I wanted to talk about, you talked about being a female in the blue collar. That's typically a male dominated field. Have you had a lot of young girls or other women that have come to you or whatever to say, I would I would love to do this, and can you help me or guide me? What has been that response from other women and young girls?
Yeah, I get a lot of messages directly on all the social medias, and I'll get emails. In fact, I have a newer employee. She has been with me for a couple of months now. She was working for the last year. She's 19. Nobody would
Mhm,
give her a chance. They only would teach her how to do tires and oil changes, like the most simplest thing of mechanics. But they would not give her a chance on anything else or show her in that shop. So her mom reached out and asked if could she come over here, because she really wants to learn. She's teachable. She can do it. Just give her a chance. And
mhm,
those are the consistent emails and phone calls and texts that I'm receiving, is that
mhm,
these young women, they want to do it. They just want somebody to show them with open arms, and that's something that they're not getting around the country. It's very hard.
mhm, mhm. So what words of encouragement or what would you advise them? Because everybody's not gonna be able to come
Right.
to you. So if somebody's in a different state or and wants to get started, what words or advice would you give them to get started on their own if they can't get to you?
I always say, look at my journey, go back and see
Mhm.
how I started. If that's something that you think that can work for you, you don't have to go buy cars and flip them. If you want to navigate and learn the basics, first and foremost of a vehicle, just go buy you a cheap one and tear it
Mhm.
apart and put it back together. You know, it might
Mhm.
take you 2 years, but you're going to learn everything that you need to get started and have that background. And if you can get into a technical program, because unfortunately there are not going to be enough mentors out there that are females that can take on other, internships or whatever that they're looking for. So you have to be able to do the research yourself and get into a program, besides doing it at home, because that on hands training is most important. That's the fastest way
Mhm.
you're going to learn.
Mhm. Okay. Any tips, like if somebody's in a position and they won't help them, like the men you said, where they want to steer you to just the tire rotations? Any tips to like, look, dang on it, I want to do this. What do you? What could they say to?
They'll have to search around them. You got to search
Mhm.
because there's no way there's not at least one female mechanic. There might not be a business owner, but one female
Mhm.
mechanic that is on their way or already there, that is doing such an excel job, that they
Mhm.
try to find somebody local, at least in the
Mhm.
50-mile radius. And if they can't, that's when you're going to have to take it upon yourself to really learn the basics on your own, unfortunately. But that's why we have programs online, and we everything
Mhm.
is so searchable. And
Mhm.
that's,
Mhm.
you have to research. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you for that. I want to
Mhm.
go back to TikTok. I know you said you recorded like when you were in cars and when you were doing
Yes.
things or whatever. How much time does it take? Do you do a lot of editing? How does it go for you?
Well, I used to do a lot of editing because I made so many mistakes. Now it's not so bad. Um, and being as busy as I am, I mean, we have 30 or more cars in the shop at all times. So I'm moving. But things that I want to make sure that somebody else can benefit from, I stop what I'm doing and you set up the camera and you record, even if you're not trying to put, let's say it's a 20-minute video. I'm going to set the camera up somewhere, let it record 20 minutes worth of video. And then that's going to take me that night when I get home. I'm going to have to go through all the videos I made for that day and kind of edit them, shorten them up, add music in because you want to get their attention. So I've had to learn along the way, nobody wants to watch a 15-minute video. That's not going to catch their attention. So I needed
Mhm.
to learn what is it that I feel is most important for that viewer or that follower to see, or somebody else that's searching something, and then
Mhm.
put it in a way that's going to grab their attention when they're flipping. Have some great music, have the
Mhm.
speed really, really fast, or make it go with the beat of the music. I've had to learn
Mhm.
a lot of technical things in regards to posting on social media that's beneficial, for
Mhm.
it to be, I guess, searchable.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot that you end up learning, but it's almost like, I don't know if there's a class for this. I kind of had to learn along the way. Maybe that's
Uh-huh.
what we should work on next, is make like a entrepreneurship social media training to help benefit your post and your business.
Mhm.
That would
So
be so.
how short do you get that video? What's your average video time?
Oh gosh, I turned an hour long video into a 90-second video the other night.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I like took the speed and I made it like 100 times, because there's different apps that will help you edit videos.
Mhm.
And I've tried different ones. I have this one right now. In fact, for anybody that would like to know, this
I
is
was
the
gonna
best.
ask you what's your favorite.
Yeah, I can't even think of the name of it. I just know to hit the button. It's an editor app. Let's see, what is it called? It's called UCut. So UCut Pro. That is what
Okay.
that is what I use to edit all my videos. And once I
Mhm.
upload it into that app, I can add music. I can change the speed, take volume out so you can hear no background noise. Um,
Mhm.
I can change colors. Oh, it's amazing. And that makes a video that would normally look very boring, very entertaining. I can make
Mm.
it very entertaining. But it's taken me a couple of years to learn over time, what people are going to watch and what people aren't going to watch. And that seems to be
Mhm.
what the hit is right now.
And I was gonna ask you just that. I was gonna ask you, how do you go in and check your metrics like regularly to see, or how do you determine what is a good topic or what's a good video, what people want to see?
Well, that's something that I am probably unlike other people. I'm not going to search what people are searching. If you I'm going to post what I think is important for my content and what I think that other people would like to see. Um
Mhm.
all my followers are mainly here because they've been with me along the journey. So they're anxious to see what I'm going to do next, or what we're doing in the shop, or what funny moments are we having, or what are we finding on a
Mhm.
vehicle that's coming in constantly that people out here in the nation should be aware of when purchasing certain vehicles. So I'm
Mhm.
just going to shoot the content and
Mhm.
and post it. Now there's a lot of other people that do go in and they'll search a certain topic and like, oh, well, I see a lot of people are watching this. Let me make a video like that. My content's
Mhm.
very original.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's I just keep following that. Um,
Mhm.
now, when it comes to styles of the videos, I do pay attention to the videos that I'm looking at on social media and what is grabbing in regards to the music that's being used. Because
Mhm.
think about it, you're swiping through on social media and you hear a song that you really like, you're going to pause for a second because number one, you want to hear the song and you're going to start singing along, but now it's got your attention. So you want to look at what video is attached to it and why.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that is very important, I have found.
So you look at like the trending songs and things like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because look
because
at all the old school music that's all of a sudden popping up on social media
Mhm.
that kids are
Mhm.
dancing to. It's
Uh-huh.
all Southern soul that we like
Mhm.
to listen
Mhm.
to. I'm like, oh man, I know all these songs. I can make a great video. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, my daughter was here a couple of weeks ago and she's just scrolling. I'm like, how can you do that this fast? I gotta take a minute to see it. She's like, I know if I want to see it or not. And I'm like, how? You
Yep.
weren't there a second. So
Yeah. You kind of learn along the way,
Mhm.
especially when you're the creator. You're gonna
Mhm.
pay
Mhm.
attention.
Mhm. And so you do all of your creating, all of your editing. Do you reply? Because you have 132,000 plus followers now. Do
Yeah.
you respond to all of your comments or how do you manage that?
Uh, Unfortunately, when I get home, that's when I get done cooking and getting the family done and settled. I usually sit on the couch and then I'm like this. I'm like, hold on, babe. And I'm doing it. I'm trying to respond to everybody. I'm posting that day's videos, and then I'm going through the
Uh-huh.
comments, and I try to reply
Mhm.
back to everybody. I at least heart it, so I
Mhm.
read it. But it's
Mhm.
hard. It's hard when you have half a million likes. Literally, I have half a million likes.
I
That's
figured.
a lot of people. And then you got
Mhm.
it's not just one social media. It's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So that's four that I have to manage. It's not easy. And sometimes it can take me an hour or two every single night during the week. And then I use the weekend to try to catch up when I'm watching
Mhm.
and relaxing. My husband will pause the movie. We'll be watching a movie, and next thing I know, my phone's in my hand trying to catch up on messages, and
Mhm.
and the movie just pauses. He's like, paying attention. I'm like, yes, I'm paying attention. I promise.
What
Yeah,
just happened? Tell me what she just said.
right, right. Yeah, it's not easy. I understand why there's emails that come through for these businesses, that there's actually groups of people that manage your social media for you and take
Mhm.
care of all that. I think that's what the
Mhm.
famous people do, because there's no way
Mhm.
those famous people are, like
Mhm.
actors, and let's say Brad
Mhm.
Pitt, for instance, he's not going in there and replying to everybody. He's got a team
Mhm.
that's doing it. We're not that
Mhm.
fancy over here. We got to take our personal time to do that. Yeah, it's
But
not
one
easy.
day you might be able to get you'll be there if you choose, and sometimes the interaction is good for you to really have that relationship and
Yeah,
connection
it's
with
very
your
personable. You want to
Mhm.
be personable. I wouldn't want to hand
Mhm.
that off to anybody else, because
Mhm.
that's why my followers like me. That's my customers. My
Mhm.
social media is what brings in one out of three customers every single day in my shop. Either they walk
Wow.
in, call,
Mhm.
text, or email. I saw you
Mhm.
on social media. I want you to work on my car. So if I take away that personable part of my
Mhm.
social media, I'm gonna
Mhm.
lose customers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Has there been one interaction or experience that, like, really stuck out to you through all of these transactions and or
Yeah.
posts and interactions?
So there is a lady named Sarah who lives in Virginia.
Mhm.
She saw me on Instagram. She's an older lady, very, very nice. She reached out to me a couple months ago, and
Mhm.
wanted her truck. Her brother had passed away. It was his 1951 Chevy pickup truck that she wanted fully
Mhm.
restored. Um,
Mhm.
and she said, and I didn't think she was serious. She's like, I'm going to put it on a transport truck and I'm going to send it down to you. I want you to work on this. I love what you're doing. I follow your content. She was just, she was very, very, you were going to work on this truck. And
Mhm.
2 days later, a transport truck shows up with the truck on it. And I really thought she was, wasn't being, people say that all the time. I didn't
Mhm.
think she was serious. Well,
Mhm.
I'd be damned if that truck is not here. I took, getting a full restoration. We brought in two other contractors to help in with paint and interior work. And, this has
Mhm.
really become a huge project for our shop.
Uh-huh.
And it was such a blessing to meet Sarah because she's such a beautiful lady, a lovely soul, and to
Mhm.
be able to bring this to life for her. And if it wasn't for social media, then I wouldn't have been able to do this. And while we've been going through this journey, she's found out she's got breast cancer. She just found out, so
Mhm.
now it's even more important that we make this the best project that we can deliver
Mhm.
for her to make her happy and you know
Mhm.
her happy tears and whatnot. So it's really important to all of us that we take care of this in the best possible beautiful way that we can. Without
Wow.
social media, I wouldn't have had that
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
job placed in my lap. And
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think that's the benefit of being on there is that you get to reach so many people in so
Mhm.
many different areas of the world, in different professions,
Mhm.
different ages and ethnicities. Social media is amazing when it comes to your business.
Wow.
Yeah.
So will you ship it back to her? Will you deliver it yourself? Is she going to come get it? How's that reveal going to be?
Well, I
Have
can't
you?
say because what if she sees this? Oh no,
Okay.
it's going to be a huge surprise though. Just don't worry about that.
Okay. 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 I'm sure we'll be. I'll have to follow and watch to see what
Oh,
that
yeah,
reveal
there will
is.
definitely be a video.
Okay,
Oh
looking
yeah,
forward to that. And that's special. That is really
yeah,
special that, to have that opportunity to do something for someone. So you mainly do the mechanics of it, but then you said you're bringing in somebody else to do the all the exterior and
yeah,
things like
yeah.
that.
So yeah, I took it all apart, but I'm not a painter, so
Mhm.
we contract that portion in, and it's nice to be able to bring in other small businesses on something where we all can do a
Mhm.
project together. We have
Mhm.
an interior guy that comes in. His name's Val. He has done many cars on our property
Mhm.
for customers,
Mhm.
and will custom their entire interior for them. In fact, her truck interior is already done. He did it a couple weeks ago. It's in my office waiting on the rest of the next step of the job so it can be installed.
Mhm.
So that's it's really nice about bringing more than just yourself into something.
Nice. So let's go back to the beginning of the year. You get a call from Good Morning America. How does that go? What happens? How did that happen? What happened?
Well, I think what really brought it all on was last year. TikTok came. They came and shot a commercial.
Oh.
I was one of five small businesses on their campaign that went across the nation. So I was on Times Square, and I was on the
Mhm.
buildings in LA. I was in Washington D.C., and then I was on the commercials that ran through the Super Bowl, and that they ran for like 4 months. So after
How'd
that,
you get selected for that? You said only 5 businesses? How did you
yeah,
get selected for that?
they just liked my content. I don't know. It was kind of crazy because there's other businesses out there with like millions of followers, and here
Right.
I'm under a couple 100,000 followers, but they liked
Mhm.
the journey that they saw. They liked that
Mhm.
I was a woman in a male industry, and that I had started out over here and made it over here, and
Mhm.
they liked the journey and the
Mhm.
fact that I was very advocate about social media, increasing my business so much. That was
Mhm.
given. I was very, very adamant about sharing that with anybody so that they knew that that was the best way to utilize social media.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
after that, I started getting all the calls from different news outlets. So I'm working. It was a Friday. I get a call,
Mhm.
and I see on the phone it says ABC. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. So I answer it, and they're like, "We want to put you on Good Morning America tomorrow morning.
That's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like, can we do an interview with you in 30 minutes, dude? I was so dirty. My face was covered in oil, my hands. I was like, yeah, 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 no problem. I think I carry my makeup bag with me. Went upstairs here to my office and washed up so fast and put makeup on just so I could look decent. And we were on a call, doing Zoom, and then
Hmm.
and then I was on the next morning, and I just thought it was so crazy because I have been watching Good Morning America. I'm about to be 40 in a couple months for like 30 years, or as long as it's
Yeah.
on. It
Yep,
was
me too.
Yeah, I was like, this is it. This is the big one. This is, I had already been on a couple other ones, CNBC and New
Hmm.
York NBC's New York Live,
Hmm.
bunch of articles, but it was like Good Morning America.
America.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Yes.
was, I was like, I made it.
Wow, 30 minutes? That is crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was super cool.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
Well,
awesome.
congratulations on all of your
Thank
success. I'm
you.
looking forward to continuing to see you grow. And I, again, really appreciate you sharing your story, sharing your TikTok journey. And if you could give just some advice for people who may really want to grow their social media following for their business or to monetize it or whatever they want to do, what would that advice be?
I would say use the ads manager. I have learned that, if you're utilizing it for your business and you're
Hmm.
trying to get your product or your service in front of certain people,
Hmm.
the ads manager helps that tremendously. You can just click on it and you can make you take one of your videos and you can promote it and put it out there, but you get to pick your demographics. Let's say
Hmm.
you can spend $20. Okay, you can spend $20. What normally people are making commercials that we see on TV. Well, we don't watch TV like that anymore. Um,
Right.
we're watching Netflix or Prime Video,
Hmm.
their commercials.
Hmm.
So in your social media, when you make a video, you can click the promote button, and when you click that, it's going to take you to the ads manager. Well, in
Hmm.
there you can take that video and you can pick demographics. So for instance, when I want all the people in Atlanta to see something, a new service that I'm doing, then
Hmm.
I'm gonna pick my Atlanta area, however many miles I want it to reach,
Hmm.
what age groups, women
Hmm.
or men or both, what
Hmm.
their interests are. So if especially with the engine rebuilds that I do, I usually pick men in transport. I made this group. So I picked all these demographics that fit into a group that I can just click on, like, okay, I want this video to go to all these guys in transport because I know they're gonna like engines. Or
Hmm.
if I'm doing a nice brake repair that's simple for women, that here's symptoms that you need to be on the lookout for, and I can help you with it. Okay, let me put this all to the women in Atlanta in this
Hmm.
age group. They could all be in beauty or AI, IT, or whatever their interests are, so I can
Hmm.
grab those certain people.
Hmm.
How I
Hmm.
That's how I have learned to utilize social media the best. So you do it just like a commercial.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you need to learn what your target audience is for that specific ad, and it might be different for each person.
Yeah,
What's
because
your
you don't
breakdown?
want it to reach kids. I don't need my 11-year-old to sit there and see my video because it's not going to benefit her. So
Right.
reaching a targeted audience is going to bring
Hmm.
the business that you need or want.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know that I said that was going to be it, but just bringing that up. What is your demographic as far as, do you find that you get more women? Do men find it harder to trust you to work, or do you get a mix?
Dude, most of my customers are men.
Okay.
But that's because of the social media, because they can
Uh-huh.
see, they can watch that I have taken an engine out of a vehicle, torn it down, taken it to the machine shop, ordered new parts, put it back together, put it back in, and it ran so much better than it did originally. If it
Mhm.
wasn't for me being able to make the videos and show them what I can do, it would be all women. That's how it
Mhm.
was when I had
Mhm.
my mobile mechanic business when I first started,
Mhm.
because I
Mhm.
had to prove myself.
Mhm.
Social media was my way of proving myself without being physically in front of somebody. So I had,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's
Absolutely.
why.
All right. Well, thank you. Maybe when I get to Georgia, I can come and take a tour of your shop. I would love to come and see that.
Sounds
For
good.
myself. All right. Do you work on EVs?
I do. Yes, and I have new EV software. Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay. Is it okay? Anyway, we're gonna wrap up because we'll be here all day, and I know
Yes,
you probably have some cars you have to get back to. But I truly appreciate you joining me, and I usually say it at the beginning, but the reason that I pick "Make Your Move" is because I want everybody to make your move. Obviously, in buying a home or selling a home and home ownership, but I also want you to make your move in whatever you desire in your life, whether it's starting a new career or, making a change, whatever the changes that you want to make in your life. I always want to encourage everybody to do it. So I so appreciate you sharing your story so that we know that you can do it. And
yes.
I want everybody to have a great week, and remember to make your move because every step counts. We'll see you next Monday. Thank you, Desiree.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.